What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Wonderful.
So I just did a little bit of an intro for you and like what Slam Club is like and how I found it.
Okay.
So I guess we can just start with kind of like who you are and what you currently do, and then we'll go into a little bit more of like the why behind Slam Club, what it means, why you started it, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool. So
So,
start with who you are.
yeah, my name is Jason. I'm the founder of Slam Club. And so you want to hear about what I do besides Slam Club?
I mean, you could tell us both, I guess.
Okay. So, yeah, Slam Club is just a passion project at this point. It's not how I make my living. I make my living, I guess you could call it freelancing. So, I do like e-commerce marketing for other businesses on the internet. I do email marketing, I do SEO and stuff like that. And I use a lot of those tools that I've come to learn with Slam Club, but for the most part, that's where my income comes from. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years or so. Slam Club was started about 5 months ago. It was started during the quarantine back in April. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So I had no idea that you did e-commerce and email marketing. Did you go to school for that?
So, no, I went to school for just like a very basic overview of business. It was called business administration.
Hmm.
Honestly, still haven't used my degree to this day because so I have a whole beef with college we can get into if you want, but
I'm in the same boat as you. I was a
yeah.
journalism major, and I'm like anti-journalism and anti-college.
Yeah, I'm going to be paying off my degree for the next 15 or so years, and I don't anticipate using it at any point in time. It's just like the stuff they teach is just like textbook stuff. It's stuff you'll never use in the real world. It's stuff that maybe was applicable like 10, 15 years ago, but I didn't learn one single thing about e-commerce with my degree.
So
So
how'd you
that
get aside from like Slam Club? Because this is kind of intriguing to me. How did you get into e-commerce and email marketing?
so it's a long story. Let's start with just like because it starts with how I found entrepreneurship. So I played hockey with a guy who started his own business
Mhm.
on Amazon. And so I found he was telling me about that back in like I think it would have been my junior year of college. So this was maybe 5 years ago. And so when I saw that was, I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know that it was even possible to sell things on Amazon. And he was someone just like me. So I was like, that's really cool. I kind of want to try that because I was going to school, but I knew that I never wanted to like work a real job. I never wanted a 9 to 5. So at that age, I was already looking for my way out of the regular 9 to 5 path that most people take. So I started out with Amazon, and I sold a couple different products on Amazon for maybe 2 years. Never really made any money with it. Just kind of would make some good money, then I would end up losing everything, and then I'd work my part-time job for another 6 months, save up money to buy some inventory, and then try again. Then I graduated college, and for a couple months I worked on a farm out here in California, and that was actually probably my favorite job that I've ever had, working on the farm, because it you get to be outside all day, you get to like work with your hands. The days go like I was working 10-hour days, 7 days a week, but like they went by so fast because you're just out there listening to music, listening to a podcast. But then I knew that like if I wanted to like become better than just like a field worker, I had to like get some skills. And
Mhm.
so I saw a job locally for a e-commerce marketing position. And so I applied for that, referenced my Amazon experience, and they hired me. And it ended up being so I'm very anti 9 to 5, but this 9 to 5 was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And I think for a lot of people, a 9 to 5 is the best thing they can do for a little bit because there's really no other place. Like we were talking about college, I didn't learn anything that's being used in the real world. This job, I was getting paid while being taught how to do like email marketing, SEO, stuff like that. So I worked there for about a year and a half full time. And then I dropped back to full or part time. I still work there part time, 20 hours a week, because I've grown with them to the point where I manage all of their email marketing and I manage their SEO as well. And so they're really cool about letting me work from home. So I started working from home before the pandemic even started, just because my biggest beef with the 9 to 5 is the lack of freedom. I
Yeah.
wanted to be able to go to the gym and go to the grocery store at like non-peak hours of the day. I was tired of going to the gym at 5:30 p.m. where everyone else is too. So for me, I pretty much went to my boss and I was like, I love what I do here. I love everything you guys have taught me and I'm really grateful and I want to keep working with you guys. But one, I'm working on other businesses now, which I'll get into in a second. I have other things I do as well. But I told him I just can't devote 40 hours a week anymore. And I want to be able to work from my home office. And he was really cool with that. So if you can find like a 9 to 5 where the boss is willing to pay while teaching you stuff, I think that's like one of the best ways you can get started in any industry, because what I ended up doing is taking the skills I learned from this job, and now I have 4 or 5 different businesses where I actually went out and contacted them directly and offered them my services. And it's just like I get paid like a monthly retainer to run their emails, to run their SEO, and it only takes me per client maybe 5 to 10 hours a month. So ideally, that's going to be all I do in the future. I'm hoping pretty soon to be able to leave my part time altogether and just work with my clients on the side, and
Have
then
you,
run
have
Slam
you
Club.
read the book Purple Cow?
I haven't.
Oh my, what you're telling me right now is like word for word the guy who like wrote the book, or not wrote it, but like the book is about. It's about a guy who basically did what you're doing and like worked at a 9 to 5 and then kind of went off on his own, and he does like that similar type of stuff. So like you're just talking about this, I'm just like, this literally sounds like that book. But that, I mean, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's like there's other people that have done this before me, and they've documented the process of how you go about getting your first couple clients, how you go from being like an employee to like managing your own time and figuring out like the biggest hurdle for me in finding my own clients was that like nobody was making me do it and nobody was making me do the work. So I had to go and do it myself. So once I got that like initiative down, it was just so easy for me. And I think it's something that can apply to so many different industries. It's not just marketing where people can do this. I mean, you can do it like I'm trying to convince my fiance actually to do it herself. She's an accountant. I'm trying to get her to start doing the same thing, because any industry where you're selling something, you're selling a service, you can do this. And like when you break down how much you make per client compared to how much you're working, it blows a 9 to 5 out of the water. Like I'm making substantially more than a 9 to 5 while working a fraction of the hours.
That's exactly how I got started with training, basically. Like, I moved out here to Iowa, and I knew, like, the easy thing to do is go to a gym and work for a gym and have them, like, get the clients for you. But then, like, you're stuck with maybe clients, like, that don't mesh well with you, and
Right.
you're only stuck with X amount of clients in that gym.
Yeah, you have a ceiling.
Yeah, I just basically would go around, and I went to a bunch of gyms in the area, and I was like, can I train people out of here? And I found like a really dope, like awesome place. Guys are great, trainers are great there, everyone's great. And then I had another gym back where I like sort of like coach the hockey team. So I just train out of both gyms, and I just get as many clients as I can get in a day and a week. And that's how I basically make my money plus my coaching. So it's like, that's how it relates to me. What you do is like, you go out and you try and get the people to like help with their email and marketing and SEO and stuff like that. I have to go out and be like, hey, like I'm a trainer, I can help you type of stuff. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah,
think
you only eat what you kill.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
said something really important, like you only work with clients that you like and that you mesh well with. And I
Yeah.
think that's got to be the best thing about what I'm doing right now is like if you hate your job, you hate your boss, you don't just like I mean you can quit obviously, but like then you're unemployed. With like when you have multiple clients and you spread your income amongst like a group of parties, if you end up not liking a client, someone's disrespecting you or your time, it doesn't kill you as much if you have to leave them.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the best parts.
Yeah. Like when I got started too, I knew that going after older clients was like what everyone wanted to do because they paid more. So I was like, fuck that. It's such a saturated market trying to be like the guy that claims he can get you back in shape at 40 years old. So I work with literally like 85% of my client base is 9 to 14-year olds.
Oh,
And
that's
I
so
work,
sick.
yeah, I work with 9 to 14-year-olds. A, they have the best energy ever. B, I'm like a child, so we get along so well. C, they like this is going to be stuff that they're going to take out later on in life and they're going to notice it right away. And a little kid telling their mom they love it is going to go a long way
Oh
than an
yeah.
older guy being like, yeah, like I talked to my buddy and I told him that you're a trainer. Like I have like the kids who tell their moms they love it, who then talk to their moms, friends, and everyone knows. And it's like by the time I was like in September, I had like 7 little kids who I was training, and I was like, geez, I had 0 last month.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and everyone always said to me like, it's not a place where you're going to make money training 9 to 14-year-olds. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a place where I'm going to bring in $100,000, but show me a job where you love what you're doing and you're bringing in $100,000 and you're making a difference and you're helping people. It's not many
Right.
jobs out there that are doing that. Like, you don't bring in a lot of money, you don't bring in as much money as you would like, but at the end of the day, it's like rewarding work that you're doing.
Right. And you're not going to find one of the things I realized about my job is that there's not many jobs out there where you're going to find fulfilling work. Like I'm lucky enough where like I get to see like a direct ROI from my work for my businesses with e-commerce, but like most people that are just like pushing paper, doing something in a 9 to 5, they never really get to see like the fruits of their labor, I guess. They never really get to see the impact it makes on the business. And I think that's like why a lot of people burn out and end up depressed and miserable. It's because they don't
Mhm.
really have like anything fulfilling them. And what you were just talking about, like the 7-year-old kids that just absolutely love training with you, that's got to be one of the most fulfilling things there is.
Yeah, I mean, you see a kid who couldn't like run or he ran like I always test and I always make them like do like competition drills because little kids just like love competing. Like they want to beat the person to the right and left of them. So I just tell them like you gotta beat him, you gotta beat her. And it's like every single week they race each other and they see that they're getting like a little bit closer every single week. And it's rewarding for the kid. And then they go on the ice or in basketball or football or soccer and they're one of the best players on the ice or in their sport and it's like, well, why. So it is really rewarding. And I guess like while we're on that topic of rewarding, because I'm sure like Slam Club is you can see like the impact that it's making on people. I mean, just following the Instagram and all the stuff that you reshare and all the people that buy the shirts and like how much it means to them, just like a shirt with some words on it, and how much that means to them must feel amazing. And like, how did you start this and why did you start it?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I always kind of wanted to start like a clothing brand, and I knew specifically I wanted to start something in powerlifting because aside from hockey, that was like my biggest passion over the past like 10 years. But I didn't want to just start a clothing brand to start a clothing brand. I didn't want to like have to compete with like Gymshark or like
Yeah.
any of these very, very, very high level brands. So I kind of was waiting for something to like fall in my lap almost. I was kind of waiting for an idea to come to me because I didn't want to start the brand until I knew that it would stand out. I wanted it to be something that didn't exist yet. And then obviously quarantine happened and I, along with many others, had to go without the gym for a very extended period of time. I
Mhm.
ended up not being able to train for like 16 weeks. and I
Wow.
saw the effect that that had on my mental health. And I realized I was obviously not the only one that was feeling this way. So that's kind of what started Slam Club. And our tagline is slamming weights is a mental escape. We also kind of use the phrase barbell therapy a lot because for me, obviously, I started lifting back when I was 13, 14, 15 years old. And there was two main reasons I started lifting. The first one was for the confidence it gave me because I was a pretty scrawny kid. I was playing hockey and I didn't really hit my growth spurt until like my sophomore year of high school. So I was like, even on my license when I was 16 years old, I was only 5'6", 120 pounds. So like I knew that I couldn't control my height, but I could control my size and I could be harder to knock off the puck. I could be a little more intimidating out there. So that's why I started lifting originally was for like not really the mental health benefits, but for the mental strength that it gave me. I felt a lot more confident out there and it showed in my play and in like the way I would carry myself at school. I didn't feel like I was only 5'6" anymore. I felt like the man. So kind of tying that back to with what I felt during quarantine, I realized I wanted to start a brand that kind of shed light on the link between physical training and like mental health and
Yeah.
mental strength in general.
So obviously, I mean, I was in the same boat as you. I was just a little bit thicker for a 5'6" kid. I was probably like 5'6", like 150, and I've just always been like a little bit like bulkier type of kid. And I mean, I started lifting weights the same reason. Like I used to go online and I would look up like University of Michigan's D1 hockey teams workouts, and I'd like their nutrition plans, and I'd print it out and I'd put it on the wall in my room, and I'd like try and follow their nutrition and their workout plans. Me and my friend used to bench like 3 times a week, and we would like do declining flat bench like 3 times a week all the time. There was something about like being strong that stood out to me. And then when
Yeah,
I got into like college, it was like a really big mental escape for me, just due to all the pressure with hockey, school, work, grades. It was like, how am I going to deal with all of this and not end up fucking killing someone? And
right.
I ended up like, just falling in love with powerlifting, like deadlifting, benching, squatting, like really seriously, to the point where like I was doing like 500, 400 pounds during hockey season, which ended up killing me. But
Right.
it was something where I'd wake up on a Tuesday morning after an hour and a half practice at 6 a.m. and I would go and I'd lift. I'd drive 25 minutes away to this powerlifting gym just to lift and get my lift in. And so like right when I found Slam Club, I was like the shirt means like so much because I know exactly where it's coming from. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're continuing to gain traction with the clothing, and you're making new shirts and stuff like that. Like, did you foresee it taking off like this?
Um, I had an idea that this was going to be different from some of the other like e-commerce businesses I'd started. I just had a feeling it would be, but I went into it with zero expectations, and I honestly I'd sold the first 50, 60 shirts before I even had any inventory because I didn't feel confident enough to go out and buy the inventory. So I just set it up with a really long lead time and started running Facebook ads to the brand, which is how I found you.
Yeah.
And that's how I find all my customers is Facebook ads. So I would put some money into Facebook ads and see if people were interested, and they were pretty interested. So I decided to go ahead and start taking it a little more seriously, but I did not expect it to grow the way it has thus far at
Yeah,
all.
and I'm usually the type of guy where like I'll see a Facebook ad and be like, "Fuck this!" Like I'm not clicking on this. But
Same.
it was something about it that stood out to me, and I clicked on it and I saw the black shirt that I have. I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting this." And I
Yeah.
think that might have been like one of the customers where you didn't have any inventory.
How long did it take for you to get the shirt?
It must have been like, because I remember I ordered it and then it arrived at my door in Iowa, and I was away in New York at the time. I think it might have taken like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember because I got it, I ordered it in New York, and I was home for 3 weeks, and it was there at my door when I came back. So I was like, oh, like, I got the shirt. It was awesome though. But I mean, that's a really good idea. And I'm not entirely sure, like how did you use e-commerce to like kind of do this? Like, was it just as simple as creating a Facebook ad and like boosting the ad?
So yeah, it's a lot simpler than you may think. You really only need two things. You need a Facebook page and you need a website where you sell your products. So then you use your Facebook, and you obviously need an Instagram page too, but then you just go and you can pretty much choose who you want to show your ads to. Facebook and Instagram have more information about us than we have about ourselves. They know
Yeah.
everything about us. So it's very easy for them to go and find my ideal customer. So I get to choose, like, if someone likes powerlifting, I want to show them my ads. If someone is into the IPF, which is the International Powerlifting Federation, I get to show them my ads. And then, yeah, it's just about trying to create something that stands out because, like you said, nobody goes on their phone and starts scrolling social media with the intention of buying something. You have to kind of like snap them out of that state of like that scrolling trance state. And so, yeah, it's just about putting kind of like eye-catching stuff and like powerful text in front of the right person, and then they go to your store and check out.
That's insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've run like Facebook ads for my training, and I haven't seen like the ROI that I would like. And I'm just like, fuck it. Like I'm not gonna waste the money running these ads anymore. And
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
very easy to waste money on Facebook ads.
It's so easy. Even though like I try and not spend as much money on it because I know I'm like at the end of the day, like, can I justify spending $30 a week on a Facebook ad if I get one client? Yeah, okay. But if I just get zero clients, then I just wasted fucking $30, and that's at the end of the day $120 for that fucking month.
Right. That's kind of what it's about, is figuring out what you're willing to pay for a customer. So for me, I'm willing to pay a lot more for that initial customer. I'm willing to pay a lot more than they're worth for that initial order, with the intention that that is going to be a customer for life. I've really put an emphasis on like my branding and trying to like create a relationship with each person that comes in contact with my brand. And so I'm really banking on all these customers. When I drop something new, they're going to come back and get something from the new drop. So
Yeah.
if you look at it that way, then like a one-time customer, they might buy one shirt. They're not worth $28 to me. They're worth, over the course of the next 2 years, maybe $100, with the idea that I would drop maybe 5, 6 different new collections over the course of those 2 years. So yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, like if somebody buys one shirt but they share it and they tell their friends, that turns into two shirts possibly.
Right. Yeah,
Even if
there's
you just
so
buy.
many things that go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I don't even think you should read the book. I was gonna say like read the book Purple Cow, but I don't know if you really need to because everything you're doing it kind of makes sense, and you're already like probably read the book but didn't read the book. But yeah, I mean, like that's the biggest thing. Like I try and tell like my friends who start like training, like they're becoming personal trainers, and I just tell them like get your first 3 clients, make sure those 3 clients have like the time of their lives and they see the value in it, because then those 3 clients are going to be walking advertisement.
Right. Your paying customers should be free ads. They should be your biggest ambassadors out there. And that's kind of what I do with Slam Club. Is I have a lot of people hitting me up asking me if I have an ambassador program, if I'm willing to like sponsor them. And without being rude, I pretty much tell them I don't need that, because the people that pay me money are already doing that for free. Like if you look at the brand, I have people tagging me every time they wear the stuff and going out of their way to tell people about the brand. And it's really powerful when you create a brand that's capable of churning out those customers.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, because you look at like the supplement companies and like they're big thing is finding that really good looking, skinny, in shape, fit person and paying them to be like, hey, take this pre-workout, it works. And
Right.
at the end of the day, like that might work, but somebody who like me and you who are like pretty knowledgeable in fitness and health, I'm like, look, like I'm not fucking dumb. Like you probably never taken that pre-workout in your
Right.
life. Things
Yeah,
suck.
it's 2020. Everyone sees through that shit. Everyone knows like all the games these brands play. Their bullshit meter is like dialed in. They can always see shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I used to be a little bit naive to that type of stuff.
Right.
Like, oh my God, like, the guy Chris Jones when I was in like freshman.
Chris Jones, you're talking about the dude that cooks
Yeah,
and lifts a lot? Dude,
yeah.
that guy was my boy. I loved him. He
Dude,
used to make his protein waffles all the time.
yep, him and someone else. Like, I used to watch literally all their YouTube videos. And I used to like whatever he got like in his YouTube videos food wise, I used to be like, oh, I'm going to get it. And I would
Yeah.
get it. And I used to have his pre-workout. It fucking sucked.
Yeah.
His protein was awful too. And but I still repped the guy. I was like, this is awesome. And then I kind of realized I was like, oh, like, like this stuff doesn't work. I'm not that dumb anymore. You kind of see like behind all these people's bullshit. And it's like this, I'm just gonna like I quit pre-workout protein supplements for like 2 years because I was just like, fuck these people, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just it did really interest me that how Slam Club like started, and I just wanted to like sort of like reach out and like see how it got started because I think at the end of the day, like why it is to me, why it stood out to me is because you never really know like what's going on in someone's life and that mutual connection that you have like with Slam Club and mentally like lifting weights is a mental escape and barbell therapy to some people it sounds like you're a meathead, like you're just a meathead, like you just lift weights because you like being jacked and you like being strong. Like that's what it looks like on the outside, but on the inside it's like if I don't lift weights consistently, I'm gonna go fucking insane.
Right.
And quarantine was that for me. I literally was going so insane that I built a gym in my fucking apartment living room because I was like, I if I don't work out and I don't do anything, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I used to run during quarantine like 25 miles a week, and I'm a fucking 170 pounds, 5'8". I'm not a runner. I used to deadlift 479 pounds going to run in 25 miles, but I was
Yeah.
going so fucking insane because I couldn't lift.
Yeah. I
But
found that I was just snapping on people constantly, like people around me, like I would just snap on them. And I think it was 100% because I wasn't able to be putting that negative energy into the weights. And
yeah,
so, yeah, that was one of the main reasons I started it. And I, I stand by that. I think that there's like I've had my DMs are like a case study for it. The people that are DMing Slam Club are echoing exactly what we were just talking about. Like, so many people are in the same boat where they use the weights as an outlet for something negative in their lives.
mm,
So, yeah, I mean, my thought on the matter is that nobody lifts weights just for the sake of lifting weights. Like, it doesn't accomplish anything. They're trying to do something with their like mental state. I think for a lot of people that get started in fitness to look good for girls, like they're not lifting weights to look good for girls. They're lifting because they have some sort of insecurity and they're trying to gain confidence. And
yeah.
so I think that's another thing that I really want to drive home is that's what Slam Club represents is like those people who are lifting not just to get strong, but to improve their like mental health.
And they're just self-confidence and self-belief.
Right.
For lifting weights for me, it was a huge like self-confidence thing. Like when I saw myself get bigger and stronger, you just have this aura to you that you're like, nothing anybody tells me is going to be like I can't do or something like that.
Yeah.
And I see it with the kids I train. So it was really cool. It's really awesome what you're doing. And I mean, I'll be a lifelong customer and a fan, and I'll be following you. And hopefully you just continue to thrive and drop new shirts, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we got some more coming soon.
Awesome. I'll link like the Slam Club website, Instagram, and all that stuff in the show notes too.
Cool.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Peace.
Later.